Construction at New Prairie has really started to pick up its pace over the past couple months, so we tried to get in contact with someone who could tell us more about it. Here's what we found out.
So what do you do here at Performance Services for the New Prairie Construction Project?
So I am the lead project manager for Performance Services. Basically my responsibility is to kind of organize and run the project. I'm responsible for keeping track of all the subcontractors and making sure that we have who we need when we need them to keep the work moving forward. I'm also responsible for tracking money and making sure that we're meeting budgets and that kind of thing. So I kind of have responsibility for all of it.
What do you think has been the hardest part so far of this renovation, if you want to call that?
I think I've been doing this a long time, so it's kind of, you run into the same things over and over again, right? So when you start the new project and you're beginning to do demolition, you always find things that you're not expecting on the demolition side of things. When we were walking through the building, we talked a little bit about asbestos, so that would be one of the problems that came up. Is when we tested, we found we had asbestos, so we had to make sure that we dealt with that in the proper manner, which we did. And then it's really just a matter of trying to stay ahead. I mean, the biggest thing for me is I have to be 3 or 4 weeks ahead of whatever it is that's going on. My job is to solve problems before they arise if I can. So I'm looking at the plans, trying to anticipate the work that needs to be done, looking at the plans, and if there's things that are not clear and that kind of stuff, trying to provide answers for the subcontractors before they get to that given piece of work in order to make sure that once they do get there, they can just keep working effectively and not get bogged down and having to solve problems as the job unfolds.
Now, has it been hard working in an active job site?
In the active school, you mean, basically?
Yeah.
So the school, because we've partitioned off areas of the schools where we're essentially separate from the school activities, it really hasn't caused that many problems. The school is big enough and it has enough entrances that we're kind of isolated, so we don't have a lot of interaction with the students. So that hasn't really caused us a whole lot of problems. For instance, there are times when we have to kind of be quiet because, like, when you have I-step testing coming up in a couple months, so we have to make sure we give you guys the best chance we can to be successful at that. So there are some things, but the administration at New Prairie, your principal and your superintendent and the director of facilities are all very good people to work with. So all in all, I would say it's gone relatively smoothly, as smoothly as it could go.
Is everything on schedule? Is there been too many delays? Is it good?
We probably got off to a little bit slower start than we were hoping for. We probably would have rather opened up the classrooms at the west end about a month earlier than we are, but by the time we get to the middle of April, we should be pretty well on track. We'll have turned over the art and fax and ag lab area by the middle of April, and that will be on time according to the original schedule. We've got a lot of work to do then by the end of the summer. That should all that renovation work should be fine. We have started pouring foundations for the auditorium. We're actually going to start the precast erection sooner than what our schedule showed originally. And the schedule that happened with the proposal, we weren't going to start the precast erection until June. Right now we're trying to start that sometime by the middle of April, so that the auditorium we're actually hoping is going to be moving a little bit faster than what we originally proposed.
If I recall correctly, when this whole area got hit with the storm, all these roofs over here in this side of the building, there was holes in them, right?
Right. So up against the far west edge of the building, for about 10 or 12 feet, actually, the roof was peeled off and the roof deck itself off, so it was all the way down to the structure of the joist, and you could actually see daylight from inside the rooms. Now, PSI was not involved in the actual repair of the roof itself. There was a separate company that did that, but that was done over the course of the summer time. So that actually opened up these rooms. We kind of decided to do these rooms earlier than we were going to do otherwise because you had to vacate them anyways because of the storm that happened. So you're actually getting these rooms earlier than the original schedule called for.
I heard possibly 2 weeks, right?
Well, I'm talking about they were moved up into the very first phase of the project, as opposed to being in a phase that was further down, like they weren't going to be done until next summer. But instead, we went ahead and did them now because you ended up having to move out of them anyways because of that storm event.
Thanks to PSI and Mr. Short for having us. We look forward to working with you guys in the future. We also hope that the construction goes smoothly.